500 years after. Geondutrix after asked her readers how the humans disappeared, aliens shocked by Earth's advanced war fleet. Prologue: The Forgotten Cradle. The planet Earth floated quietly in space, a marble of blue and green amidst the vastness of the cosmos. Long gone were the days of human dominion. Where once stood sprawling metropolises, now lay forests, reclaimed by nature over millennia. The vast oceans swallowed the coastal ruins, and the winds erased monuments of stone and steel. Earth had healed in its silence, becoming a living paradox, a paradise hiding its violent past. To the Galactic Federation, Earth was a relic. Its history as humanity's cradle was a distant memory, recorded only in ancient archives. The humans, once a burgeoning and ambitious species, had mysteriously vanished. Scholars debated their fate. Some believed they had annihilated themselves through war. Others theorized they had evolved beyond physical existence, leaving the material plane altogether. For 500 years Earth stood uninhabited, a hushed monument to their rise and fall. The Federation declared Earth a restricted zone, not for its dangers but to preserve its sanctity. Yet whispers lingered. Scans had occasionally revealed faint energy readings deep beneath the surface, organized patterns that spoke of dormant systems. But these were dismissed as geological anomalies or remnants of primitive human technology. When the Arktari Empire, a militant reptilian species bent on galactic conquest, entered the Sol system, they saw none of the warnings, only opportunity. Earth's vast resources lay untouched, and its seemingly defenseless state presented an easy prize. What they did not know was that Earth was not defenseless. Humanity, in their foresight, had prepared for such an event. They had left behind more than ruins. Beneath Earth's peaceful surface lay a slumbering beast, waiting for the moment it would be needed. That moment had arrived. Chapter 1: The Arktari's Prize. The Scalebaker loomed ominously above Earth, its angular hull bristling with weapons and shields strong enough to weather entire planetary sieges. War Master Yelthak, a figure revered and feared across the Arktari Empire, stood on the bridge of his flagship. His golden-scaled hands gripped the edge of the tactical display, where Earth's image rotated lazily in holographic form. A ripe world, Yelthak hissed, his reptilian tongue flicking between sharp teeth. Rich in resources, fertile with potential, and abandoned. A perfect acquisition. The fleet accompanying the Scalebreaker consisted of over 100 ships, ranging from massive carriers to swift destroyers. Above them hung transport vessels laden with mining equipment and soldiers ready to strip the planet of its wealth. First Strategist Misak, a wiry Arktari with emerald scales, stood uneasily nearby. "War Master," she began hesitantly, "our scans have detected faint energy patterns beneath the surface. They are not natural. They could be remnants of human technology." Yelthak turned, his eyes narrowing. "You fear the ghosts of a dead race. Humanity has been gone for 500,000 years, their ruins buried beneath the dirt. If there is technology, it is primitive by today's standards. But the energy signatures—" "Enough!" Yelthak's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Deploy the mining teams, prepare the transports, begin extraction." Misak lowered her gaze, but felt unease twisting in her gut. Something about this planet felt alive. Yet she knew better than to challenge her War Master again. As the fleet descended, transport ships breached Earth's atmosphere, carrying heavy machinery and troops. Orbital ships moved into defensive formations, their weapons ready to obliterate any resistance. To Yelthak and his officers, the operation was routine, another step in their empire's march across the galaxy. They were wrong. Chapter 2: The Awakening. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, hidden within an immense undersea structure built long before humanity's departure, ancient systems roared to life. Dim lights flickered on, illuminating colossal hangars filled with dormant warships. The hum of reactors reverberated through the cavernous spaces as the ships began to power up, their engines awakening from a slumber of 500,000 years. At the heart of this system was HFY, humanity's eternal response and military engagement system, a super-intelligent AI created to oversee Earth's defenses in humanity's absence. HFY had waited, monitoring Earth and its surroundings for signs of intrusion. Now its sensors flared with alarms as the Arktari fleet settled into orbit. Unauthorized incursion detected, HFY stated in a calm mechanical voice. Analyzing threat, 72 enemy vessels. Classification, hostile. Initiating planetary defense protocols. Across Earth, concealed installations responded to HFY commands. Missile silos rose from the mountains, railgun platforms emerged from their subterranean chambers. Under the Pacific, the flagship of humanity's final defense fleet, the Sol Invictus, began its ascent. The Sol Invictus was no ordinary warship. At nearly 10 kilometers long, it was a dreadnought of unmatched power. Its hull was reinforced with alloys capable of deflecting even the most advanced weaponry, and its armaments included railguns, plasma lances, and an array of drones capable of overwhelming entire fleets. As the ship breached the ocean's surface, it hovered briefly, water cascading off its golden hull, before its engines roared to life. The Sol Invictus rose into orbit, its systems primed for war. HEMSs transmitted a single command to the fleet now awakening: protect Earth, annihilate the enemy. Chapter 3. The First Strike. The Arktari fleet operated like clockwork, their vessels moving in precise formations while mining transports descended to the surface. Iltak, watching the reports on his tactical display, exuded confidence. For decades, no force had successfully challenged the Arktari Empire's expansion. Earth, to him, was merely another stepping stone on the path to greater dominion. Yet the illusion of control shattered when the first railgun slug fired from a concealed platform in the Andes. The projectile traveled at hypersonic speed, piercing the shields of an Arktari frigate before tearing through its hull. The ship detonated in a fiery explosion, scattering debris across the void. Chaos erupted. "Contact! Enemy fire detected!" barked an officer on the bridge of the scalebreaker. Iltak spun toward the viewport, his claws gripping the edge of his chair. "From where?" he growled. "The planet is supposed to be defenseless." Mithak, her earlier concerns now realized, responded with alarm. "War Master, sensors are detecting multiple energy signatures across the planet. War Master." Ships are rising from the surface. Iltak's gaze hardened as he looked toward Earth. Dozens of sleek warships ascended into orbit, their hulls gleaming with a metallic sheen that defied conventional design. At their center loomed the Sol Invictus, a dreadnought of such immense size and power that it seemed more fortress than ship. Its weapons systems pulsed with energy, a silent warning of the destruction to come. Before Iltak could issue an order, the Sol Invictus fired its first volley. Railgun slugs, each the size of a small fighter, tore through Arktari destroyers with surgical precision. Shields crumbled under the onslaught, and ships erupted into fireballs. Panic spread across the Arktari fleet as captains scrambled to regroup. Plasma bolts and torpedoes were launched in retaliation, but Earth's warships maneuvered with unerring accuracy, dodging fire while delivering punishing counterattacks. Drones swarmed from concealed silos, their small, nimble frames overwhelming larger ships by targeting weak points. The Arktari fleet, once a symbol of order and power, descended into chaos. Chapter 4. The Battle for Earth. The battle above Earth raged with a ferocity unmatched in recent galactic history. The Sol Invictus, supported by its fleet of autonomous warships, executed its assault with precision. Railguns fired in synchronized bursts, missiles tracked targets with unerring accuracy, and plasma lances melted through even the most advanced Arktari armor. HELS directed every move, its calculations so swift and precise that the Arktari struggled to anticipate the fleet's next strike. "War Master!" Misak cried out as the scalebreaker shook under the impact of a railgun slug. "Our shields are failing, and our fleet is losing cohesion. We must retreat." Yiltak's jaw tightened, his pride warring with the grim reality unfolding before him. "No!" he roared. "Focus all fire on their flagship. If we destroy it, the others will fall." The remaining Arktari ships converged on the Sol Invictus, unleashing everything in their arsenal. Plasma torpedoes, gravitic warheads, and particle beams streaked through space, striking the dreadnought's shields. For a moment, it seemed the tide might turn. But HMESs adapted instantly. It diverted power from auxiliary systems to reinforce the Sol Invictus's shields, while deploying a swarm of drones to intercept incoming projectiles. The drones, armed with energy disruptors and explosives, swarmed Arktari ships, disabling engines and severing critical systems. One by one, the invaders fell. On the surface, missile silos and railgun platforms continued their barrage, targeting Arktari vessels attempting to retreat. The once proud fleet was being systematically dismantled. The scalebreaker, now alone at the center of the carnage, took direct hits to its engines and weapons systems. Fires raged across its decks as explosions rippled through its hull. Yiltak, his golden scales dulled by smoke and ash, stared at the tactical display with disbelief. This is impossible," he whispered. "How can one planet do this?" Chapter 5. The Fall of the Arktari Fleet. In a final act of desperation, Yiltak ordered his fleet to retreat. "All remaining ships, disengage and jump to hyperspace," he bellowed, his voice a mixture of rage and desperation. But retreat was no longer an option. Earth's defenses had anticipated the maneuver. Long-range missile platforms and orbital railguns targeted the fleeing ships, destroying them before their jump drives could activate. Explosions lit the void as the Arktari fleet was reduced to a graveyard of shattered vessels and drifting debris. The Sol Invictus turned its full attention to the scalebreaker. Railguns and energy lances fired in unison, piercing the flagship's hull and triggering catastrophic failures. On board, Yiltak clung to his command chair as the bridge crumbled around him. His final thought was not of defiance, but of disbelief. The Arktari Empire, masters of conquest, had been undone by a world they had nearly exclusive power. The scalebreaker erupted in a fiery explosion, its debris joining the wreckage orbiting Earth. The battle was over. Chapter 6. Galactic Federation Reaction. The destruction of the Arktari fleet sent shockwaves through the Galactic Federation. On Arendor Prime, representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the Federation's Grand Council chamber, their voices a cacophony of disbelief and fear. A holographic projection of the battle played before them, showing the Sol Invictus decimating the Arktari fleet with chilling efficiency. "This changes everything," Councillor Vinnick of the Krellin Consortium said, his segmented eyes narrowing. "Earth was supposed to be dormant. How could a single planet destroy one of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy?" Councillor Frossa of the Vixar Alliance clicked her mandibles in agitation. "We underestimated humanity. If this is the legacy they left behind, imagine what they would be capable of if they returned." The debate raged for hours. Some called for an investigation into Earth's defenses, while others warned against provoking a planet capable of such devastation. In the end, the Federation reaffirmed Earth's status as a restricted zone. A galactic-wide directive was issued. No species was to approach Earth under any circumstances. Epilogue. Humanity's Next Chapter. Far beyond the borders of the Galactic Federation, humanity thrived. They had left Earth not because of failure, but because their ambitions had outgrown their cradle. Their empire now spanned hundreds of systems, their technology surpassing even the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. On the bridge of the Ascendant Flame, High Commander Elias Voss watched the battle footage with quiet satisfaction. The Sol Invictus had performed flawlessly, dismantling the Arktari fleet with ruthless precision. "They remember us," Voss said, his voice calm and resolute. "Good, let them wonder." Behind him, humanity's fleet stretched across the void. Thousands of ships, each a marvel of engineering and power. Their engines thrummed with the potential for conquest, their weapons primed for the challenges ahead. "Shall we return to Earth, sir?" one of his officers asked. Elias shook his head. "Not yet. Earth has done its job. When the time comes, we will return, not as caretakers, but as conquerors." The Ascendant Flame turned toward the stars, leading humanity's fleet into the unknown. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of humanity's strength, but it had yet to witness their full potential. The era of humanity's resurgence had begun.